Please stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, as we sit watch over our community, let us be reminded that this government in which we have the honor of serving was not freely given. It was paid for with the blood and the many sacrifices made by our nation's armed forces and their families. May we, as members of this community and members of this governing body, always act with the honor and respect that they deserve. Amen. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. I'd like to have a moment of silence in honor of Memorial Day and in remembrance of our nation's brave men and women who have willingly made the ultimate sacrifice defending our nation and defending freedom throughout the world. Please be seated.
You can take like 2 spots.
Sorry. Where are you coming from, Dan?
Sorry. Yeah, his business. It's crazy.
All right, so we need a motion to reconvene from executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would the city solicitor, I guess, give an update on the executive?
Yes, in executive session, the mayor and city council discussed certain matters of litigation. Specifically, council was advised that the fair share housing litigation, that is the COA litigation, has been settled substantially in compliance with the terms of settlement offered by the city. A settlement agreement is being prepared. Additional information will be made available to the public upon conclusion of that settlement agreement, which is anticipated to be within the next 30 days. Additional litigated matters were reported upon by the manager. Specifically, the manager reported that 2 violations have been filed against CVS. One deals with violations of Chapter 198, that is compliance with the Municipal Land Use Code provisions. A second violation dealing with a violation of Chapter 210, that is the Mercantile License Chapter, has been filed. Court dates are scheduled in June, and additional information will be made available upon conclusion of those court matters. Personnel matters were discussed. The manager advised that Ellie Derrickson is retiring on June 30, and that position has been posted internally within the city. Another retirement relates to the QPA Peg Boyer, who is retiring. The manager advised council that he is exploring the possibility of a shared services agreement for the QPA position. Additional personnel matters, the manager advised that interviews have been completed for certain promotions within both the police and fire department. With the assistance of the chief of police and chief of fire, the manager will be putting together a list of the promotions that is expected to be done within the next 15 to 30 days. Contract matters were discussed. Specifically, the manager advised that the streetscape project has been postponed. Additional information will be made available as the matter goes forward. However, the anticipated start date for that project is now Labor Day. The manager also advised that he has had preliminary conversations with representatives of the Atlantic County Improvement Authority in regard to a grant application to the authority, which would provide $50,000 to the municipality in services for planning and legal services. These services would relate to the establishment of an area in need of redevelopment that is being presented as a scattered redevelopment plan. Additional information will be made available at the next meeting, when the manager anticipates having council consider a resolution to actually file for that grant with the ACIA. The manager also advised in regard to land transactions that initial conversations have taken place where the municipality may purchase property on First Street North. Additional information will be made available as those negotiations go forward. That additional information should be available within the next 60 days. I'm sorry. On that last matter, that land acquisition is not 21st Street, it is 12th Street North. That's it.
Great job. At this time, we need a motion to approve City Council meeting minutes of March 16th, March 22nd, and executive session minutes of May 18th, 2016. Do we have a motion and second?
So moved.
Second.
We have roll call.
View? Yes. McClay?
I have a couple of questions. One, I'm abstaining from the 322 special council meeting. I was not in attendance. Yes for the 518 public council meeting. And I have a question on the minutes for 316. I'll direct it to the manager. And then in the minutes on 316, March 16th, under the recycling ordinance, it says Superintendent John Doring commented that there were over 1,000 violations that were noted in town regarding trash containers without lids and recycling issues. Is that correct? Were they violations?
They were warnings. It was my friendly reminder that was sent out. It was around 900 is what it was. They weren't violations.
Okay, so,
A ticket was not issued.
so it should be changed to 900, and should we change the word violations in there? If it
Yeah,
wasn't a
It wasn't a
violation?
violation.
Okay.
It was a friendly reminder.
So we're going to reword that as 900 friendly reminders, not
Please.
violations. Okay, that was the only change I wanted to see on the 316 minutes, and my vote is yes on 316, yes on 518, and I abstain from yes on 518, yes on 316, and I abstain from 322.
Lucre?
Yes on 316 with the amendment to friendly reminders. Abstain on 322, and yes to whatever the other one was.
Sarah?
Yes.
Okay, so 316 and 518 executive are approved. 322 we're going to hold off on because we won't have a quorum to vote on that. 322?
You said 518? Can't be that.
518, oh, is that 418?
All right.
418.
It should be 418.
Very good turnaround time.
We need a motion to approve the requisition list and operating expenses and payroll.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Can we have roll call? Or I guess, is there any discussion? See no discussion. Can we have roll call?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'd like to deviate from the agenda just for a second. If I could invite Assemblyman Chris Brown to please take the stand.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everybody, and I promised I would be brief. I know you have things to cover. First, this is my second time back here. Within a few days, I want to thank Rabbi Fox and Beth Shalom. They had me on Friday night, and it was a wonderful experience for me. And, of course, I want to thank everybody in Brigantine. You know, we could hide under a rock, or we could come out and be seen and answer your questions. So we're here tonight. If anybody has any additional questions, we'll be out there and happy to answer them. And then, of course, there's Team Brigantine. When I learned about their trip to Washington, D.C., one of the things that I was privileged to be able to do, you know, Trenton can be a rough place. So when you get to do something that's nice for people who are giving back to their community, and I know myself, Saturday I get on my bike, if I go half a mile, it's pretty good. These guys went all the way down to Washington, D.C., so I brought with me a joint resolution from the New Jersey State Assembly thanking Team Brigantine for what they did and letting them know that we appreciate it. So I thank you for giving me a moment. I promised I would be brief, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have a proclamation for the Law Enforcement United Team Brigantine. Police Chief Bennett, will you please introduce the members of Team Brigantine?
Thank you, Councilman Sarah. We have Patrolman Rich DeLeon, telecommunicator Cameron Sweeney, Detective Jack Glasser, and Detective Steve Ward here tonight from Team Brigantine.
All right, so I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas Team Brigantine, now in its 6th year, continues to raise awareness of Law Enforcement Unite. An additional goal of Team Brigantine is to raise money for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund and National Concerns of Police Survivors. These organizations honor the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers and their families by memorializing fallen officers and providing assistance to their families of fallen officers. Whereas Team Brigantine members have ridden their bicycles and provided support since 2011 by traveling from southern New Jersey to Washington, D.C. during Police Week each year. Since the team's organization in 2011, the members of Team Brigantine have raised over $70,000, all through charitable donations from the fraternal organizations, businesses, and residents of the city of Brigantine. The 2016 Team Brigantine consists of Patrolman Rich DeLeon, Detective Jack Glasser, Patrolman Greg O'Donohue, and Dispatcher Cameron Sweeney. The team was organized in 2016 by Patrolman DeLeon and Detective Glasser. Whereas in 2011, the team consisted of 2 officers of the Brigantine Police Department, and in the following years included additional Brigantine police officers and dispatchers, Richard Stockton University police officers, Egg Harbor Township police officers, Pittman police officers, and an agent from the Federal Air Marshal Service. Each year, these members rode their bicycles and support vehicles approximately 250 miles through New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., while representing their respective departments. The mission is ongoing, and the present and past members hope that the team will continue into the future. And now, therefore, on behalf of Mayor Philip J. Gunther, Mayor of the City of Brigantine, on behalf of City Council and the people of the City of Brigantine, we do hereby commend and present the past participants of Team Brigantine 2011 through 2016 for their generosity on behalf of their fellow officers and their families. And we urge all fellow residents to join us in expressing the pride and gratitude of an appreciative community.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council, thank you to everybody that's here today. Rich DeLeon from the Brigantine Police Department. I've had the privilege of serving as team captain of Team Brigantine for 3 of the last 6 years. And as Mr. Sarah mentioned, officers from Brigantine, Richard Stockton College, EHT, Pittman, and the Federal Air Marshal Service, as well as communicators from our department, have ridden down to D.C. and offered support. $70,000 that we've raised, but the thing to remember is that we weren't able to just raise that money from nowhere. That money came from the residents of the city of Brigantine. It came from the businesses that donated for our benefits that we had. It came from the charitable organizations in town. I have to mention that the VFW has been our single biggest supporter since we started. They've given us over $4,000 towards our goals of giving money to the National Police Officers Memorial and also to the concerns of police survivors. Also, the Beecher family, who our annual poker run's named after. The widow of Stephen Beecher, Judy, has also been a huge supporter of us every year coming out, and not just Team Brigantine, but the entire Police Unity Tour. So I have to mention our thanks to them. Okay. So this year, we rode for two charities. We rode for the Police Unity Tour, and we rode for Law Enforcement United. Two separate organizations with two separate missions, but ultimately the same goal, to raise awareness for fallen law enforcement officers and to remember them and remember their families. Officer O'Donohue, who's not here, he had training today, and Officer Glasser, they rode their bicycles down from southern New Jersey all the way to Virginia and Washington, D.C. this year. I rode the police motorcycle in support, and Cameron Sweeney was a medic and also a transportation support. In the past, Detective Ward served as team captain, rode his bicycle. His father, Steve Ward, we call him Big Steve, he did it too. Melissa was one of our supports. And all the other officers from the other towns, and I have to mention the inimitable Ed Brown, who also rode his bicycle all the way down to Washington, D.C. But like I said, it wasn't just something we could do on our own. We had the support of City Council for the last 6 years, City Manager Ed Stinson, and of course Jim Bennett, our Chief of Police, who without their support, without the city's support, we would never have been able to do it. We also want to thank the Elks Lodge, the American Legion, the Lions Club, the Brigantine firefighters, and of course the PBA for all their support. Public Works Department's been great. Anything we need, they do for us. So at this time, we'd like to present a gift to all of you, to the city, to the residents, to the businesses, and to the charitable organizations that allow us to do what we do. And hopefully, when you see this hanging in the halls, you remember that we didn't do this for us, we did it for all those officers that came before us. The money goes to the police memorial and it goes to the families of fallen law enforcement officers. We included a plaque at the bottom which reads, "To the City of Brigantine, its residents, businesses, and community organizations, for your unwavering support of Team Brigantine and its mission to raise money for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, the concerns of police survivors, and the families of fallen law enforcement officers. Remember the sacrifice, honor the service." May 18th, 2016. On behalf of Team Brigantine and all the organizations that participate in the Police Unity Tour worldwide and Law Enforcement United in the United States and our past members, thank you.
Tell you, I'm always impressed by the people of our community. You know, time and time again, I think we're all constantly reminded of the generosity and the dedication and the just ability to think of people beyond yourself. And it's always just heartwarming just to see how many people in this community always give back. We have one more proclamation tonight, and this is in recognition of National Police Week. And we want to recognize tonight our police officers. Whereas the Brigantine Police Department plays an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of our city's residents, it is important for our residents to know and to understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of our law enforcement agencies and its members. Whereas members of the Brigantine Police Department recognize their duty to serve by safeguarding life and property, by protecting the people against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. The men and women of the Brigantine Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service. And now, therefore, on behalf of our mayor, Philip J. Gunther, the city of Brigantine, and the members of the Brigantine City Council, we do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th through the 21st, 2016 as National Police Week, and call upon all of our residents and patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe with appropriate ceremonies and observations in which all of us can join in commemorating the past and present law enforcement officers who have served their community by faithfully devoting their responsibilities, and in doing have established a reputation for perceiving the rights and securities of all of our citizens. I'd like to, present this to our chief. At this time, I'd like to take a 5-minute recess just for any of our officers or recipients tonight who want to take pictures or stay with their families. So we'll take a 5-minute recess and then we'll reconvene. To make a motion? Make a motion?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion. Is there a motion to take a 5-minute recess?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that
Okay, 5-minute
5 minutes
recess.
from now or from when you first said it?
Next up on the agenda, we have public comments on agenda items only. If you would like to speak about the agenda, please use the microphone and state your name and address for the record. All right, seeing no comment at this time, I will close the public comment. Next, we have Resolution 2016-101, self-examination of the budget. Ed, could you please explain this resolution a little bit?
This is a resolution authorizing the self-examination of our budget. It is permitted by the state. It is something that is done not every year, but is done in the past. We conferred with the Division of Local Government Services, and it is appropriate to have this on the agenda tonight for council's consideration.
We need a motion to adopt the resolution.
Discussion?
Oh,
Let's do a
sorry.
motion in a second.
Thank you.
Let's do a motion in a second. and
Yeah, motion
Okay.
second,
Oh,
and
okay.
discussion.
All right.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Um,
Discuss.
Oh, yeah, so is there any discussion? Thank you.
Yes, I was looking into this. This is the first time this has come across my desk. So I started looking into, I know that we are eligible for a budget self-examination. We are eligible. And I know that there are procedures on when we're supposed to adopt this resolution. And according to the Division of Local Government Services, this resolution was supposed to be adopted we should have passed it prior to the adoption of the budget. And I know that we discussed that it's not a major issue, there's no ramifications, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. My first question is, why didn't the auditor advise us of this resolution before we adopted the budget?
You know, I haven't spoken to the auditor about it, Councilwoman. I don't know.
Okay, I would like to know from Leon, when you get a chance, and get back to me, or email, or I'll come in, unless you'd like me to call him. I'd like to know why he did not advise us to pass this resolution before I adopted the budget and voted to pass the budget. And my other question is, our CFO, did she know we needed to pass the resolution before we voted on adopting the budget?
So I spoke with Roxanne. Obviously, this comes from Roxanne. And my answer is going to be, I guess she did not realize that it needed to be on the agenda the night we adopted the budget. She conferred, as I said, with the Division of Local Government Services, and they advised her to put it on this agenda. And that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, there are requirements, and I see that we met all the requirements, but I would like to know why the auditor didn't advise us to pass this before we adopted the budget. Thank you.
And I have a couple of comments along those same lines and some additional things. I'm a little puzzled, too, how it is that neither our CFO nor our auditor advised us. I mean, I could see people just forgetting something, but apparently it was forgotten for quite some time because we've had a meeting since the adoption of the budget where this didn't come up. So I have to assume that this was realized, this oversight was realized between our last meeting and tonight. It's been in the statute for a long time. It's a standard piece of every year's budget. Either the Division of Local Government Services or the governing body and Chief Financial Officer themselves have to examine each year's budget. And I'm told, or we're told, I guess, that there are no ramifications. I guess I'll accept that, except there are ramifications to the extent that we passed along our adopted budget after the meeting of April 18th, I guess it was. And apparently, Local Government Services has not yet and will not certify our budget to the County Board of Taxation for purposes of setting our tax rate until they get this resolution. So I'm a little troubled, I guess, by the fact that neither of our professionals caught this. When I say neither, I mean the CFO or the auditor. And that ties into my second comment, which is really more of a substantive comment. none of the four of us sitting up here tonight have ever been through this process before. I understand the last time the city did a self-examination was 2011.
That's correct.
Yeah, and that predates the four of us. In fact, of the 7 council members, the only person who would ever have done a local examination, self-examination, would have been the mayor. So it shows up on our agenda as a resolution to approve and basically tracks the language of the statute and the regulations, except that it doesn't provide us as council people any guidance as to how exactly we would go about making whatever inquiries one needs to make in order to be able to make the statements that are required of us under the statute. Specifically, in the New Jersey Administrative Code, the relevant section is in Title V, Chapter 30, Section 7.6, which Part A of that says, prior to adoption of the budget, the governing body and the chief financial officer shall examine the budget for the following. And then it lists a number of items that we are to certify that, with reference to those items, the amounts have been calculated pursuant to law and appropriated as such in the budget, including then listing payment of interest, deferred charges, cash deficit, reserves for uncollected taxes, other reserves, and inclusion of amounts required for school purposes. That we are also required under subsection 2 to certify that the provisions relating to limitations on the increases of appropriations as set forth in various cited statutory sections have been met. That 3, the budget is in such form, arrangement, and content as required by the local budget law and a couple of named statutes. That is section 4. All estimates of revenue are reasonable, accurate, and correctly stated, that items of appropriation are properly set forth, and that the budget will permit the exercise of the comptroller function within the municipality. 5, that the budget and amendments have been introduced, public advertised, and adopted in accordance with the local budget law, and that 6, all other applicable statutory requirements have been fulfilled. All of which may very well be the case, except how do I or any other council member certify to that? We haven't had any specific discussion about this and about these requirements. We certainly, because we have our professionals do these things. We didn't participate in the actual creation of the budget. I maybe have a little more familiarity or involvement with statutory provisions because of my job, but not enough to be able to say that whatever it is the local budget law requires of us, that we've in fact done all that and done it properly, or that all the other applicable statutory requirements have been fulfilled, because frankly, I don't even know what they are. So it's very difficult tonight to sit here and be asked to make any kind of meaningful analysis along the lines that's required of us under this self-examination in order to reach the conclusion that we are obliged to reach in order to adopt the resolution saying that we have self-examined and that we meet all these requirements. I'm not putting it on you, Ed, to tell us what to do, because I know that, by background, you're not the chief financial officer, nor are you an auditor, but how do I do that? How do I vote tonight to say, yeah, everything is good, and I've examined it in my role as a council person, when, of course, I haven't. Of course, I couldn't, and, without appropriate guidance, I wouldn't even know what it is that I'm supposed to be looking at in order to say yes or no, we've done that. Again, not something you can address, I understand, but...
It's a shame because the agenda went out, and given time, I could have had Roxanne here at this meeting. Had I known you had this type of questions, had I anticipated that you had these type of questions. Obviously, my answer is that we have a CFO who has done all these things, and in fact, many of them came up when we discussed the budget. Certainly many of Part 1, A through F has, and I assume most of them do. But I understand your position, Councilman, and it's obviously your decision up there. But again, had I been given, had you mentioned this to me Friday when you sent me that email, or Monday, whenever it was, I could have had Roxanne available. I could have had her available to answer your questions over the phone so that tonight we could. Yes, it was missed, and it should have been on the agenda the day we adopted the the budget. But things happen. It was, it was an oversight, but it was caught by our CFO. And she went to the Division of Local Government Services, had the conversation, owned up to it, and this was the appropriate step. She's done this. If you're not comfortable voting on it, you guys tell me what you want me to do, and we'll make sure that whatever information you need, because it is there, and I am positive that she has done and has the information that you would need. If that, you tell me what you want, and I'll make sure that we get you that information.
I have a question. How often is the self-examination done? Like, I heard you, but I didn't.
So it doesn't happen every year,
Okay.
for sure, and it rotates. So we're in 3 different categories, and so it's generally every 3rd year, but it's as approved by the state. So to be honest, I don't really have a great handle on that.
Okay.
I do it when we're told.
Is it, because I'm trying to recall, is it about 1/3 of the municipalities throughout the state rotate and go through it? Like each time?
Something
Something like that?
We're divided into 3 groups, correct.
All right, and then outside of like procedurally about this being adopted before the budget versus now, how would the process be different today, approving this versus approving it that day?
I don't believe the process would be different.
All right. What would be the implications of not supporting this tonight? How would that affect our budget? Or the process of pushing the budget forward?
We would delay it till our next council meeting when we can have this adopted, and the Division of Local Government Services would not certify to our budget.
Okay.
And Roxanne, I spoke with her today, and she felt very confident that this procedure had been completed, and that it was just pretty much a formality to sign this, or to approve it.
That's right.
Well, again, the statute has 2 elements to it. We, as a governing body, are being asked to certify, and the chief financial officer independently by this is certifying. And again, I'm not saying, bottom line, that we don't meet all of these standards. But, and let me address the point you're making about timing. When did we first get this, and in what form did we get it? We got a resolution at the end of last week which simply recited statutory standards. First, I had seen of that. First, I had heard of it. First, I knew this was something we were going to be asked to do. I had to independently look into it. It would have been nice, you say it would have been nice had I taken some additional steps to allow the chief financial officer to respond. I think it would have been nice when the chief financial officer realized she had made this oversight and presumably realized that this council had never before been through this process, to give us a little guidance on what the process entails, if you're going to put it in front of us and ask us to vote. And I did flag this in my email to you yesterday, and I specifically flagged this section that I'm reading from as a section that, caused me concerns. The response I got, and I did get a response from you today, was basically that Roxanne had reached out to local government services and that everything was good. Maybe with local government services in terms of procedure, the fact that we're doing it a month after the adoption of the budget, that's not an issue, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. But that doesn't get me any closer as a first-time participant in this process to, understanding exactly what it is I'm being asked to do and what it is that I should look at or what information I should be evaluating in order to make the decisions that are required of us if we're going to pass this resolution. That would have been nice, too.
I guess from my own knowledge, Councilman, if you had received this on the day of the resolution, what would you have done differently? Like on the day of the budget? Just so I can follow.
My objection would have been exactly the same, Vince. There's lead time for everything. When one is aware, as I'm assuming our chief financial officers and auditors statewide are aware that this is an integral part of the whole budget process, that it is a piece that every, if not every year, at least every 3rd year, in whatever towns you represent, and as we know, our auditor represents a number of towns and has for probably 30 years, and our chief financial officer is an experienced CFO, and I'm sure she's been through this process before. So, knowing that that's part of the process, you as the professional, knowing that it's also your job to advise council and to make sure the council understands what it is they're voting on when you get into these very specialized areas, I would hope, have given us advance notice. You know, this is what the process entails. It's coming up before you. If you have questions, ask me the questions. But that didn't happen. Now, all right, so it was an oversight, I accept that. But it doesn't change the fact that we're here now. And this whole thing has really just, from my thinking anyway, has just come together over the last couple of days. And, you know, I'll abstain. I'm not going to vote no because I don't want to create the impression that I think there's something untoward here, but I'm certainly not in a position to vote yes on it.
So it kind of seems to me that the questions you have right now would be the same questions you would have had on the night of the budget when this came up. It's the
No.
lead up to this.
My first question would have been, why am I getting this for the
Okay.
first time on the night of the budget? When it's obviously a separate piece that has to be dealt with by
Okay.
council, and it involves different considerations, obviously, than the things we talk about in deciding whether or not to adopt the budget.
Right.
This talks about the procedural and the legal sufficiency of the budget and the procedures that were followed to adopt it, which, again, you know, honestly, I don't know how I can opine on those things because we don't do them. That's not part of what we do.
So it's not a question that you don't believe these procedures were carried out. It's that you didn't have the lead up and the information you needed to know that they were carried out, to make a decision tonight.
Well, I have no information on it, Vince.
Okay.
None of us do. We have faith, and that's fine, and we have the CFO stating that from her perspective and her evaluation, it's been done right, and I accept that, you know, at face value.
Right.
And that's good for her, because she is one of the other parties. She is the other party that has to certify.
Right.
So she feels good about it, and, you know, we trust in her and we follow her. To the extent we do, then that helps inform our judgment. But it doesn't get you all the way there, because,
Right.
you know, in terms of substance that we have, we don't have it.
Okay.
I honestly thought the CFO was going to be here tonight to explain this, and then I was going to, you know, make my decision based on that. And I'm sure all of this was done, and it was just an oversight, that we should have just voted on this a long time ago, and now we're getting it. But honestly, I thought she would be here to address these concerns.
Is there any further discussion?
What will happen if we don't sign this tonight or approve this tonight and they don't certify the budget? What will happen? Will we be penalized? Will we?
I don't believe we'll be penalized. We'll have some explaining to do, and we'll have to have it on the agenda for the next meeting. So I'll send her a text.
I have no problem voting on this tonight. I don't have a problem. I just wanted a little bit more clarification on some of the stuff that was in it. I thought the CFO would be here, but I wouldn't want to hold up anything with the Division of Local Government Services. You said there are no ramifications. I don't have a problem with it. But next time when something foreign like this comes to me and I see self-examination of budget, I don't know what that is. So it took me a few days to read into it and look at some of the statutes and actually,
In the future, if something comes up where you would like additional information or you would like the CFO present, please let me know, because I can't read your
Yeah.
minds. And
well, something like this, you know, maybe just a little email from her explaining what it is, that would have just,
I'll talk with her.
That would take
but
care of
likewise,
everything.
feel free to email us as well, and we'll get you that
I do
information.
come in your office and I ask you a lot of questions.
All right. Then if there's no further discussion, I guess we'll have a roll call.
View?
Yes.
McLean?
I'm very confident
Oh, sorry.
that Roxanne did her job and this was just a misunderstanding or mistake.
McLean?
Things like this happen, and I'm not going to let that hold anything up. I vote yes.
DeLucre?
For the reasons I stated, abstain.
Sarah?
I have a lot of faith in our CFO and the process that we went through here. I do recognize our council members' questions and suggestions, and I do think it's good that we have better communication. But with that being said, I'll vote yes.
Motion defeated, because we don't have a quorum, right? Three?
No,
Affirmative.
first of all, you have a quorum because you have 4 out of 7, so you have the ability to have a meeting. Once you have a quorum, any matter that comes before you, with very few exceptions, needs a majority of those present in the
Okay.
quorum. So you have a majority. 3 is a majority of 4, so you're okay. It passes.
Motion carried.
All right, so we have Resolution 2016-102, which is real estate tax refund for Diaz, Fabrizio, and Luz. Resolution 10, oh, sorry. It's for an overpayment on the real estate taxes. We need a motion to adopt Resolution 2016-102.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Lynn, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Excuse me, Chairman Sarah? Point of order and further discussion. If we could go back to the self-examination resolution. And I'll ask our solicitor first to acknowledge that I'm talking to him, all right? Fred, this might be one of those unique circumstances you just alluded to. If you would, I'm going to bring you the text of section 7.66B, which I think provides in part that the governing body shall execute the certification by passage of a resolution by not less than a majority of the full membership of the governing body, meaning it require 4 votes. I'll bring it
Is
up.
that's it? That's in the statute?
Yeah.
If that is the case, then it went down.
Well, if that's the case, I would make a motion to reopen and re-vote. I will change my vote from an abstention to a yes for purposes of moving it forward and for no other purposes.
Okay. If that is the case, through the chair, the motion for reconsideration should come from an affirmative vote. So one of the 3 that voted affirmative can make a motion for reconsideration. If there is a second, you can then call the roll again, and Councilman DeLucre has already indicated where he would be.
All right, so at this time, is there a resolution or a motion to re-examine
Reconsider.
Resolution 2016-101, the self-examination of the budget?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I guess, is there any further discussion?
Well, now we have to make the actual motion to
Right.
adopt it.
Yes.
So-
So that motion was to put it back
put it
before
back on.
council. It is now back before council. A motion on the resolution would be in order.
All right, so now we need a motion to adopt Resolution 2016-101, self-examination of the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Roll call.
Yes.
Roll
Yeah.
call.
Sorry.
View,
We have roll call?
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Should be, thank you, Mr. DeLucre. Yes.
Sarah,
And Councilman DeLucre, I would like to personally thank you. So, yes. All right, so we move on to Resolution 103 is a refund of rental property inspection. I guess we need a motion to adopt Resolution 103.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to close discussion. Can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, item number 14 on the agenda is coin drop for the Brigantine Rams. Are asking for permission to hold 2 coin drops, the first on May 28th and the second on July 2nd. So we need a motion to adopt Resolution 2016-104.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. The location. Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July weekend, at the entrance to the jetty in the cove.
That's what they're requesting.
Let me,
Usually it's out on the,
To be honest,
On
it's
the
a
county road.
lot better, in my opinion, than out here on the boulevard. But obviously, they're going for the biggest one of the biggest traffic days, but at the entrances to the coves. Cove and the jetty, yes.
Are they-
Do you anticipate traffic jams, backups? People live on Seaside and Lagoon Boulevard?
Councilwoman, they all have to slow down or stop as they go onto Seaside Road anyway, so the permit checker can check their permits. We don't anticipate any issues with it at all. Lagoon Boulevard might slow up a little bit, but if they put it a little further down past the entrance, it'll keep things moving.
So the actual drop will be on the beach or before the entrance to the beach?
I was led to believe it was going to be right by the entrance, but I wouldn't have a problem from a law enforcement perspective moving it if it would help things with traffic, as if they're looking to target the folks who are going to the beaches.
It's a smart business move.
Very.
I was just concerned in the backup of the traffic on those residential, because it's never been there before.
I think it's safer than out on the boulevard.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're just limiting yourself to 4x4s going on and off the beach? Okay.
All right. Any further discussion? Can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, we have our consent agenda. We have an addition to the consent agenda. It's the Lions Club Classic Car Parade, which is on May 29th, Sunday, May 29th. The parade starts about 1:15. We have the American Legion Memorial Day Parade and Riptide Spring Striper / Bluefish Derby request. We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Guess, roll call?
View,
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, we have our council manager committee discussions. I think first up, we have the farmer's market with Mr. Roundtree, if you'd like to come up.
Can I stop right just
Yeah.
before?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. This request from Linda DeVoli, that's not really a request for, this is extending their times on the beach for 2 weeks. Should that be separate from the consent agenda? This is, I think we had extended their times on the beach to be able to drive on the beach, and now they're asking for another extension. I mean, I don't have any problem with this, but I was just wondering if that should be lumped into the consent agenda. I remember doing this in the past. Yeah.
When did they start checking tags on the front beach?
Lifeguards go on.
June?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, usually around then.
I think we did this last year.
I remember doing it before, yeah.
If the question is, should there be a separate motion in regard to the 2-week extension, as a practical matter, you're passing this with this document request is probably adequate. Saying that, though, this is probably specifically specific that you may want to do another motion that calls attention to the fact that you are extending the term for the additional 2 weeks, so that there will be no question about the fact that that was part of what it is you intended to do. So a motion to that effect could be helpful.
I'll make that motion to extend for 2 more weeks, the limited hours for the striper fishermen.
And I will second that more specific motion.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
I guess, do we need to have roll call on this, or? Okay.
As long as there's no objection, you still have full.
Just making sure. All right, so now we'll move on to our council manager committee discussions. First up, we have the farmers market, so Mr. Roundtree.
My name's Dave Rowntree, 321 Arbogast Drive, and I'm speaking on behalf of the farmers market. I have a little handout for everybody. Okay, first of all, I want to thank everyone, even though we don't have the full lineup here tonight. I may have to come back when the full complement's here, but I'd like to thank the mayor, city council, Lynn, Chief Widener, Chief Bennett, John Doring, Ed Stinson, for all the help that you've given us in the past and continue to give us this year. It's been a lot of work, but with all your help, this farmers market should be bigger and better than it has been over the last 2 years. And I'd also like to thank the Beachcomber News and the Brigantine Times. They've been very generous with us in donating column space, and we continue to use them to get our information out to the residents in Brigantine. So a big thank you to these groups. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the 77 volunteers that have come forward to help at the farmers market. We would definitely not be able to put together the effort and the whole extravaganza on Saturday mornings without the volunteers. So 77 people, to me, that's very impressive. And I'm shocked that it grew from the first year to the second year, and this year we have a lot of new volunteers with new ideas, and we're still constantly getting more people that are interested in being volunteers. So it's the place to be on Saturday morning. So thank you to all the volunteers. So what's new in 2016? We do have some new ideas that are going to be presented at the market this year. We have some new vendors. We have a vendor, Aloha Bowls. She's a local girl here in Brigantine. She makes breakfast-type fruit bowls with acai and granola. So she'll be a new addition to the market. Another vendor, Angels in the Pines. She was a part-time vendor over the last couple of years. She's coming on as a full-time vendor. Her specialty is like hand creams and soaps made out of goat's milk. And she was very popular the first 2 years that she was at the market. We also have a girl, Cottage Industry Pillows. She makes all homemade pillows. She has I think she has a business. I'm not sure if it's in Cape May or in Smithville, but she'll be setting up as a vendor at our market this year. We have another vendor, Ladle of Love Soups. She'll have a nice collection of homemade soups. She currently provides the school districts in Ventnor and Margate with her soups, so she'll be bringing them to the market this year. Another new vendor is Loving Locavore. She prepares vegetarian meals, and she is also a local Brigantine resident, Maria Papali. She'll be new at the market this year. RSK Donuts. They'll be making donuts as you watch and as you order. So they'll be new to the market too this year. Also, Salty Sea Studios, which is a new business on the island, Cheryl Massioli. She will be having a booth at the market this year too. So we have a nice influx of some new vendors along with our old vendors. And every week we're going to have over 50 vendors at the market. And out of those 50 vendors, there's at least 20 vendors that have Brigantine ties, whether they're business owners, homeowners, second homeowners here in Brigantine. And it's very important for us to try and keep that connection. And we strive constantly to include more business owners in the market. And that's part of our mission, to increase that number every year. We also have, this was new last year, our Spotlight vendor, which are brick and mortar businesses in Brigantine that do not qualify as a seasoned vendor, but we do provide a space for them on a weekly basis. For instance, Riptide, some of the realtors have signed up as Spotlight vendors. They'll be back this year. We do have some open spaces for Spotlight vendors, so if any brick and mortar businesses in Brigantine are interested, you can reach us at brigantinefarmersmarket@gmail.com. Also, our community vendors are back. I believe all those spaces are full. Everywhere from the VFW to the Bible study groups to the church groups, the quilters, the library, they're all included. So they'll all be represented at the market this year. Our marketing team is spreading their wings a little bit this year. And we are going to advertise into Pleasantville, Absecon, and Galloway, which we haven't done in the past. So we're going to try and draw people from off the island to come to the market. And while they're at the market, we want them to enjoy not only the market, but what Brigantine has to offer. So in conjunction with everything that's going on with Brigantine, the tourism and all the efforts all the other groups are making, we're going to make an effort to try and get more people onto the island. And that's been part of our mission statement from the very beginning, to promote foot traffic and exposure for local Brigantine businesses. And a lot of conversations I've had with local businesses in this right by the market area, they've been very happy with the foot traffic as a result of the market being there on Saturday mornings. So hopefully we're going to attempt to lure more visitors by reaching out into those markets, and we're going to try and keep track of it to see if it's, financially feasible to continue to do that in the future. So hopefully it will be. Another new feature this year, we have a Art in the Park exhibit. That's going to be a weekly exhibit of various mediums of art for all to enjoy. So every week there will be a different exhibit of local artists to exhibit their work for people to enjoy that come and visit the market. And we're working very closely with Connie Pyatt, who is organizing the art walk, which begins in June. So I think that'll be a nice addition to our market too. And once again, our market, we took the initiative last year to be plastic bag free. We are continuing that this year, and we are also pushing for people to bring BYOB, bring your own bag, bring your own bottle, your water canteen. We're discouraging any plastic bottles from the market. In fact, we are going to be selling canteens with our Farmers Market logo on them to the public, and hopefully with some education from our green team staff, it'll encourage people to get away from those plastic bottles. And once again, our market is dog-free and smoke-free. And we're just following in steps with the ordinance by the city as being smoke-free, and service dogs, of course, are always invited to the market. And that's about it. I'm looking forward to a good market, a good season, and I hope to see everybody at the market. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to the start of it.
Okay, very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the farmers market has so much to offer for people of all ages. Children,
Right.
we have a children's tent, and each week there are activities for children. And we have the demonstration tent this year, which is going to be bigger with a seating area as well. So when the chefs
Right.
come in, you can relax and enjoy that. All of our entertainment is, they donate their time to entertain at the market. So it's just a lot of fun. It's a great place. It's the place to be on Saturday morning. And Dave is our market manager, and he keeps everybody in line. And we meet once a week. I sit on that committee. Our coordinator, one of our co-coordinators is here, Chrissy. She's in charge of most of the operations, and it's just a phenomenal group of people. And Shirley is here. Shirley works on the committee with us each week and volunteers a lot of time, and she runs the information tent.
Right.
So if you need any information, you'll be getting that from Shirley at the farmers market.
Yeah.
But anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Dave, I'd like to thank you for coming out and sharing with us. You really got me excited about the donuts. I can't wait.
Okay.
And, the
Well-
farmers market really has become like a destination in Brigantine on Saturdays. I know a lot of my family comes down from Pennsylvania. They really enjoy going. My nieces and my kids love the arts tent. So I hear a lot of great feedback
Yeah.
about it, so keep up the good work.
Well, actually, this week I just saw a list that it was published. I don't know who published it, but it was published in New Jersey, and it was the top 20 farmers markets in New Jersey, and we were on there. So,
Impressive.
Congratulations.
we cracked the top 20 anyway. So, but thank you again for your time, and I look
Thank you.
forward to seeing everyone at the market. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I would like to add something on to what Dave was talking about. We are a plastic bag-free market, and we do not sell plastic water bottles at the market either. So this year, we're encouraging the BYOB, bring your own water bottle. So with 70 some odd volunteers, vendors, people there, we need water. We need water for people to drink. And I am looking at a water cooler that will be able to refill or fill reusable water bottles and canteens. It's lightweight, it's portable, and we would just use it during the market hours on Saturday morning. We would be responsible for the hygiene of it and putting it away and setting it up on each market day. I know I sent this to Ed Stinson, the city manager, for his permission and for him to look into it and see what we need to do if we have a source supply of water over at the library where we can run the line. I'm going to pass everybody a copy of this so that they could see what the Pure 2.0 Earthwise cooler looks like. It's chilled water, it's filtered water, it's affordable, and we can hydrate our volunteers who work out in that heat all day. LBI has 4 of these, they use it, and they're all over the state in different locations. And I know that there was a concern about the cleanliness and worry for bacteria or any risk involved with this cooler. But I spoke to the company today, and it's a simple solution on how to take care of it. And the farmer's market, and I will explain that to you. I don't want to do it now, but it's a simple solution. I have it all here written down on how we could keep it clean. So with that said, I think Ed knows what I'm talking about, John knows what I'm talking about, and now I'm going to throw the ball over in your court, and tell me what you found out.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So as we discussed, our concern, John, I've spoken with John about it, is once we supply the water, once we supply the electric, then I feel City of Brigantine is responsible for making sure that it is clean, that it is maintained, that the filters are changed, that the storing, all of that. What I would like to propose, instead of adding this, which then I believe would add requirements onto our Public Works Department, what I would like to propose is that we open up the lobby here at City Hall. We lock the doors and come into the court side. We lock the doors going into City Hall. We have restrooms here. We have cameras here. We have 2 existing water fountains that are maintained by Brigantine. And I'd like to propose we do that instead of this operation, which I feel is a nice idea, but I think we can do it more effectively opening up the lobby.
This unit is designed to fill a water canteen, and that's the use we're promoting. So every time someone wants a drink, they're going to be running in and out of the water fountain. This would be centrally located. This would not be any additional burden on Public Works. We set up the farmers market. The committee, the volunteers set up the farmers market and break down the farmers market. The only help we would need from Public Works is the initial hookup to make sure it hooks up and that it works. So let me tell you exactly what's involved here. This is the Pure 2.0 Earthwise cooler. It's very affordable, and the funds would come out of the Green Team funds. It's a lightweight, portable cooler. It will come with a drinking line, and we need an electrical outlet. And you unplug the cap ends when you're disconnecting it, and then you reconnect the cap ends to the water source, or the plug to the electric. What you do at the end of the market day, actually there's 2 filters on this to keep the water filtered. The end of the market day, all you do is lift up the tank cover. There's a cover on it. And you pour 1 cup, this is to keep it sanitized for the week, you pour 1 cup of peroxide or bleach, and then you leave it in there in the water, and then it just gets stored where we store our tables or chairs. And then to reconnect it, comes right out, lightweight, portable, reconnects, run the tap until all that water flushes out, and at that point the peroxide, the bleach would be cleansed out, and then that's it, each week. And they do it in doctor's offices, they do it in fitness centers, they do it at Long Beach Island, they do this in many places. And the people at the company said there's never been a problem with any health issues or dirt, he said. Cleanliness, as long as you follow that procedure, you will not have any problem. And the filters are good for the year. And we're only going to be using it for 16 weeks.
Where do they do it in LBI?
They have 4 of them in LBI.
No, but like, where is it? Just out in the public? Is it at a
Near
farmer's
the
market?
beach. Near the beach.
Okay.
And they built a little housing unit around it, and they leave it out all year.
Who maintains it?
Well, I guess the city of Long
The
Beach
city
Township.
does. And that's
they
the
might.
point I was trying to express to you. That
Well,
I
theirs
bel-
is out
I believe
permanently.
If we provide the water to this, that ultimately we're responsible for making sure that it is maintained, operated properly, and maintained in accordance with their specifications, which I love. I mean, obviously the volunteers are fantastic, but from my position, for the city's protection, that's stuff that should not be done, or we should not be relying on volunteers to do that work. Certainly, I don't feel comfortable relying on volunteers to pour bleach into this unit that eventually will be, flushed out and then allowed.
There would be
the
one
public to
set
drink it.
person responsible for that,
what-
and
what-
we could use a little assistance.
So again, as we have stated, if we do this, it's my recommendation with John Dorings, that if this is the desire council wants to go, then that the city of Brigantine operates this, and then we are certain we are maintaining that in accordance with the recommendations, and we're operating it in accordance with the recommendations. That's where I went to. Then it's going to be a Public Works employee setting this up in the morning and making sure it is flushed properly and making sure it is cleaned, and then at the end of the day, breaking it down, cleaning it, doing whatever is required by the specifications. We also have questions about, we don't have a water supply at the library to connect, so we'll get a plumber and we can run it, but where are we going to put it? It isn't centrally located, at least as my eyes, in the farmer's market if it's positioned at the library. And that's why we came up with, John and I, the idea of using this lobby, because we have an existing water cooler. We have the bathroom facilities here. It really seems to me to make more sense to do that than to purchase this piece of equipment and then assign someone the responsibility to maintain it and position it and operate it. So that's just my recommendation.
Is there a water supply there?
So inside the library there is, outside there
outside.
isn't. No, so that we would.
So there's no
There's no
hose
hose
bib.
bib outside.
There's no
John,
hose
is
bib.
that correct?
Okay, well,
And nor is there an
that settles
electric
that. I thought I
outlet.
saw two hose bibs, one on each side.
There's an old hose bib on the left-hand side, but if you go inside the library, it was cut at the floor, and it's probably original from the building. It's been there for a long time.
Well, then that will be a problem.
Is if I could ask a question, is the issue with coming into the library that the water fountain there isn't really conducive to filling up water bottles?
You mean coming into City Hall?
Yeah, coming into City Hall.
It's
and the lobby.
it's a little bit of an inconvenience. I mean, you're going to have people walking in and out of here unsupervised for hours.
Don't
And-
they advertise, or don't they always publicize that you can go into the library as well to use the restrooms? I've heard-
Well, we're
I've heard
talking
that
drinking water.
spoken. Yeah, but is there a fountain in there? John, is there a fountain in the library? That's what I thought there was. Yeah, I thought there was.
Would the library work better? Is that because I know this is more of a contained area. If you go to the library, does it then give people access to the rest of the library? How does that work?
Yeah. It's inconvenient to go to the library to use the water fountain, because really, you have to go into the library. We wanted water out for people to drink, fresh water. What happened to water fountains? I mean, when I was a kid growing up, we had water fountains. We should have a water fountain. It's a conspiracy against tap water.
If this is not a viable solution, how about the big igloo jugs? Set up a
That's
table?
worse. That's worse. We have 6 of them.
Oh,
We
okay.
did that the first year.
All right.
That's less sanitary than this. That's a lot less sanitary than that.
Oh.
Mold breeds inside those. And the water's not filtered.
On the links, every several holes, they have one of those, and they refill it every day, they clean it out, bring it out, and have those little paper cups.
We've
that
looked
you
at
would
everything.
want. Okay,
We've looked at everything. We've looked at a water truck, we've looked at box water. We came up with all sorts of ideas. This we saw at the ACUA Earth Day Festival, spoke to someone who uses it in LBI. It's great, it works fantastic, that's less plastic bottles in our environment, and it's filtered water, and it's free. And I think having an outdoor event weekly in the summer, in the heat, we have a certain responsibility to provide some sort of hydration. We don't have a water fountain.
So
So this, I thought, would work.
Can this be
But
set
if
up?
we don't have a hose bib, now that's a problem.
Can this be set up inside?
Yes?
Would we have a water source? Would that be easier if we had it inside?
It would work inside.
Inside the library? Or
What if we did something a little bit different? And I was thinking about this before, if something inside would work. Instead of having somebody set this up, one of the things my school did, and I think a number of schools have done across the country as part of like a green initiative, is they've actually changed over to the water fountains that actually have the filtered water and the bottling.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's something that might be a compromise or work.
Well, we would have to install one in here.
And then
Yeah.
if you had it in the library, it would be there permanently, which means you wouldn't have the setup and breakdown. It would just be the normal maintenance, and it's inside. So if that's something that might work. So I don't know.
This could work in the lobby, and then the employees here can drink filtered water and open up the city hall lobby like you said.
All right. I haven't complicated this yet, so it's time.
Go ahead, complicate.
I've been waiting.
If you don't have the source of water outside, and it sounds like we don't, I think it's a great approach, but it doesn't work because we don't have water outside. I like the idea, Ed, and I think it makes sense, open up our lobby here, because then you do have access to water and to the bathrooms. I'd be real hesitant about setting up any kind of water filling service inside, because you'll have spillage, you'll have people taking headers, it could get real sloppy. Outside, you don't have those issues, of course. If we come up with some alternative to be able to deliver the water outside, a water delivery system, that is, a source of water outside, I guess the only other thing I would want to hear is something from our insurance people as to whether or not they have any issues, or what issues they may have along the lines that you were talking about, Ed, with the ensuring the purity of whatever it is that's coming out of these containers. And whether or not, from our insurance advisor's perspective, what I assume is the insurance coverage, the additional insured coverage that the farmers market provides to the city. Do you provide that?
Our vendors have insurance.
Okay. Whether it's covered by that or whether, it's something that would cause concerns for the insurance people. But that's kind of a non-issue because we don't have a source of water.
I guess, is there any other, further discussion on this, or any other council committee discussions?
Yes, Councilman, just to make you and the public aware, we have postponed the streetscape project until after the summer. We were able to convince the funding agency, the NJEDA, to delay the project and extend the funding deadline so that we can construct it in the fall. We were just getting our backs up against the July 4th and the summer season. So have some details. We have already awarded the contract, have some details to work out with the contractor and the county. We'll make sure everything is in place so that the construction can start right after Labor Day.
Good. Any other discussions?
No, I don't want to jump on something somebody else, perhaps John, is already going to talk about, but before we leave, let's make sure that somebody talks about the scheduling for the Memorial Day services on the 29th. And also advise people that our next council meeting, I think, is our first Saturday meeting.
Saturday meeting, yeah.
So it'll be Saturday, June 4th at 9 o'clock. Same place as always. Same scintillating conversation as always.
And also, tomorrow evening is the North School Spring Concert, the band and choir. Always a fantastic evening of entertainment, starting at 7 o'clock in the auditorium.
Ed, are we in agreement and that we're going to open up the lobby and during the farmers market?
I'm in agreement, sure. If council's, that's council's
So
desire.
will the
let's
other
do that.
interior doors be locked on those mornings? Okay.
We'll put that in place.
Okay. Okay. And there is something going on this Saturday, May 21st, at 9 a.m., right, John? Clean Communities? Okay, go for it. Go ahead.
Couple things. On May 29th, a Memorial Day service and parade will be held at the Memorial Plot at 32nd Street. The parade will be leaving from the American Legion at approximately 11:45, proceeding to the Memorial Plot, and the service will be held at noon. And then, like you said, on this Saturday, we have our first Clean Communities beach cleanup, be held at 17th Street. And at the same time, we will have our first shredding event of the year. It's open to the public and businesses. Anybody that wants to bring their documents down to be shredded, they can watch them be shredded, and we get the tonnage for our recycling.
And what time is that?
Starts at 8:30, and it goes until the last shredding is done, rain or shine.
That's great.
That's the operative word this
Yes.
month.
Is there anything else? All right, at this time, I'd like to move on to public comment. If anyone would like to address council, please state your name and address, your name and address for the record. Please keep in mind there is a 5-minute limit. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Fran Chambers. I'm from 100 Heald Road on the north end. I'd like to take a few minutes, and guys, bear with me. I've got a few thank yous to make. I was hoping Phil was going to be here tonight because he's part of it. I'm a member of the Elks. I was an officer there for 8 years. I'm also a member of the American Legion, and I'm a proud member of the Legion Riders. We're the people who escort the vets in each year, and I'm one of those lucky guys who gets to do that. What I'd like to do is thank the city. Since Sandy, my family and I have been through a heck of a year. We were out of the house this time last year. The house was elevated, and I know I've been through that with you a few times. And I'd like to thank the city for all the help they've given my family. Everyone was talking about how slow the process was and all the delays. Well, I'm here to say a little differently. When my permits were looked over by the city, I had my permits back. A correction had to be made, and I had my permits back in 4 days, which was phenomenal. We had to spend the next 7.5 months off the island. We weren't even living here. We had to go back up to Philly to keep an eye on my mother. And when we got back in, everybody was so cooperative. Every department was unbelievable. So I'm here to fly the flag for the city. There's no place like this island to live. And you have to live off it for a while to realize how good it is here. And another thing, I'm also a sitting member of the Polar Bear Plunge. And every year when we ask John and the rest of the city, we get help. Every year it grows and it's better. It gives back to I'm one of the lucky ones who came back without a scratch. But there are many guys who haven't, and many women who haven't. And when we're giving back to them, it just feels so damn good. But I'd like to thank the city and John. Every time I have a problem, not even a problem, to address an issue in my neighborhood, and some neighbors come up, I go down and talk to you about it, John, and either that very afternoon or the following day, whatever it is gets rectified. So I'm here to say thank you to the city for the help you've given, and you really are outstanding in everything you do. And I'd be very remiss if I didn't come in tonight and say thank you. We were just out of our house for 7 weeks this past. The Sandy plumbers who put new lines in last year put one through the attic. And that popped when we were away and gutted the whole inside the house on the front, all 3 floors. So we just got back in last Friday, and once again, you guys got the permits to us that very day. So this is just a thank you from my family to this city for taking care of us. It wouldn't happen anyplace else. Thank you.
Welcome
Thank you,
back.
Frank. Thank you so much. John?
Good evening, temporary Mayor Sarah, and the rest of City Council. John Pucci, 100 Sheridan Square. Thank you, Councilman DeLucre. Thank you. The council had an issue tonight. The professionals explained, the city manager explained what happened. You all had your opinions. I saw absolutely no sign of party affiliation. I saw no sign of individualism. You offered your opinions, and I believe that you all care about the city of Brigantine. An adjustment was made, and you acted not as individuals, as what I spoke about in prior meetings, in prior years, the identity of council, of being one, to all together being one identity, acting together to solve issues and to come with solutions in the best interests of Brigantine. So thank you, Councilman DeLucre, for changing the vote and make it happen so there was no delays in the city manager's budget. I believe you all care about the city of Brigantine, all of you, and I'm proud of you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other public comment? Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, C08 27th Street. The Brigantine Taxpayers Association is sponsoring a public meeting this Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to noon, the Community Center. That's the 21st of May. Everyone is welcome. The two speakers are Brigantine's new police chief, Chief Bennett, and a representative of the Coastal Research Center of Stockton University, Mr. Marcus Groover, who works with Dr. Stuart Farrell, who has a contract with the city. The topics are, of course, the police department and the conditions of our beach and dunes. Everyone is welcome. This is a discussion as well as presentation by the speakers, and there will be questions from the audience and, of course, answers from the two speakers. So, again, everyone is welcome. We hope you will participate. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for sharing.
Ann, I'm sorry. Is this free admission? There's got to be a charge for that, right?
Are you serious?
I mean, people can come and hear the chief speak for free?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no
You can't
charge.
beat that.
Just come in. It is open. It is a public meeting, and it's free. Thank you.
You won't have a big enough room.
Is there any other public comment? All right, seeing none at this, John Lipsey?
Almost.
John Livesey, 214 37th Street South. I'm here on behalf of the Brigantine Municipal Alliance. Just to give you a quick update, we're moving forward with our Hooked on Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs program on July 16th. The students at the middle school have come together and have been designing our T-shirts, which we will be judging this coming Tuesday over at the community center from 6:30 to 8:30. We welcome people to come out to maybe vote if you'd like to. From what I understand, there's quite a few T-shirt entries, and we've decided to have the students design the shirts for our Hooked on Fishing event this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other comment? All right, seeing none at this time, I'd like to close public comment. Are there any council comments? All right, so I actually have one. The Elks is hosting their Veterans Day at the Bay this Sunday at 11:30. So if you'd like to come out and spend some time with our veterans and to give back to them, I know it's a great event, and the veterans really appreciate when people take the time just to sit, to have lunch with them, to talk with them, and to connect back. And I know for me as a history teacher, it's always a great event, and I can learn firsthand some of the things that I teach about in class.
What time is that?
It's at 11:30 this Sunday. And I'd like to personally thank council tonight. I think it's great when we can all work together, have discussions, and kind of help each other along. I know for me, it's my first time running a meeting, and I know a lot of people up here, if you can't see, were kind of helping me when I made mistakes or helped me keep things going. So I'd like to personally thank everybody here tonight, so thank you guys.
Thank you, you did a wonderful job.
Vince, I do want to compliment you on the way you ran the meeting tonight. You kind of lost me there at the end with that working together stuff, but still.
All right, so I guess if there's no further comments, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, for tuning in at home, and I hope you guys enjoy your night, and we will see each other soon.